Class 12th Applied Mathematics Practical 9 Probability and Dice Roll Simulation. Let us merge some of the cells so that we can write down the heading. So here we'll click on merge and center and write the heading here. Probability, PROBABILITY, and space, and dice roll, DICEROLL, simulation, SIMULATION. Now in this what we will do is that we will take two dice, say die 1, and we'll take die 2, then we'll roll them and find the sum on the top faces. So we'll add the numbers which are coming on the top face and add them, and whatever sum will be that we'll find the probability of that. And this trial will do a lot many times, because if we do less number of times, then our probability will be the result which will be get, that will be not correct one. So we'll have to do a lot many trials. So let's start this one. And if we do this in real life, we suppose take two dice and throw them say 1000 times, 2000 times, 3000 times, then it is very difficult to keep a record of that. So what we are going to do here is we'll use the simulation method. What is simulation? Already we know that is the imitation of real life situation. So that is what we are going to do here. So for this we'll use the rand between function. So right here equal to below die 1 and R, A and D. When we write that the function which will be there rand and rand between. So click on rand between two times and then write 1 and comma 6. Close the bracket and press enter. And see here rand between 1 to 6 will give all the numbers which are from 1 to 6, not between 1 to 6 but from 1 to 6. It will give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we know that when we throw a die the only numbers are 1 to 6. So we'll press enter now, and you can see that what we are getting is 2. Suppose we click one more time, every time we click here it will go on changing. Now next same we'll write here also below die 2 equal to R, A and D. Then we'll click on rand between two times, and here you can see here bottom and top. That means whatever number we'll write first and then put comma, and the second one it will include both the numbers and also the numbers in between them. So 1 comma 6, then we'll close the bracket, press enter. Now sum means we'll just these are the numbers appearing on the top face of both the dice, so we'll just add them and see what we are getting. In this case we are getting 9, so we'll write here equal to, then we'll not write here 3 plus 6, but we'll just add the cells in which number 3 and 6 is there. So this 3 and plus, then we'll click on the cell where 6 is there and press enter. So we are getting here 4 plus 6 equal to 10, because the numbers have changed. Whenever we are going to click in any cell here, the numbers will change, and but we know what is the sum of 4 and 6, that is 10, so it is correct here. Now next what we'll do is just select all of them and drag this downwards. So here we are, so here we have taken some numbers, and you can see that everywhere the answer is correct. 4 plus 4 is 8, 2 plus 5 is 7, and so on. Next here we have taken very less trials. For our experiment to be correct, we should take a lot many trials, that is say more than 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000, like this. The more we take, the better it is. So before we go further, let us make a table, because making table will help us in our experiment. So we'll go in insert, and in this we'll go click in table, and my table as header. So we are having the header, that is die 1, die 2 and sum. So click OK. So now what we are having is, here is a table, and what is the benefit of this? If we can consider this whole as this whole can be considered as 1, and when we can so if we drag it, all the three columns will be dragged together. So it will be beneficial for us, and also if we apply any formula, in that case also it will help us. Now next what we'll do here is we'll write the sum, and next one frequency, that is how many times these numbers are coming, because every time we click here the numbers are changing, and if we take more trials, say 1000 trials or 2000 trials or 3000 trials, then here we'll have to write the frequency, how many times the sum is coming. For example, the least sum, what is the least sum? The least sum, whenever we throw 2 dice, that is 2. Why 2? Because it is possible only when both the numbers are having 1 and 1 on the top faces. So least will be 2 and maximum will be how much? It will be 12. That is possible only when both the faces are showing 6 on the top face. So here we'll write frequency, and so let us first just increase the width here. Then what we'll write here is the probability, and what we are doing here is we are not taking the theoretical approach, we are taking the experimental approach. So we'll write here experimental probability, So this is what we are having. Now next, as discussed, minimum sum will be 2. Then you can have 3 also, you can have 4, and you can have till 12. So 12 is the maximum, so we'll select all these and drag it downwards, so till we get 12. So you can see here we are getting 12, so till 12. Now frequency. So in this table, how many times 2 is coming, 3 is coming, 4 is coming, or 5 is coming, like this we have to find out. So what we'll do is we'll use the count function, that is for example, we want to find how many times 2 is coming, so criteria is there, so we'll have to use the criteria also. So we'll use count if function. So just click here and write equal to count if, not count only, count if function. You can see here range and criteria. So what is the range? Range is we'll take all the numbers which in the column sum, so this we have taken. Then very simple, put comma, and then what is our criteria? Criteria is, that is we want to find how many times the sum 2 is coming, so that is our criteria. So we'll put 2 in between quotation marks, so 2, so and then close the bracket and press enter. So this is how we have got this, and we are getting 0 here because you can see that nowhere 2 is coming. Now let's just drag it downwards till 12. Now everywhere we are getting 0 because suppose we click in the second cell here. Second cell means in this where 3 is there, so it is also showing 2, but here we have to find how many times 3 has come, so we'll just change it to 3. Same way for 4, we'll change this to 4, and same way we'll change for 5 also. Then we'll change for 6, so this 2 will replace with 6. So this will go on doing till 12, and for 7 this 2 will be replaced by 7 here, by 7. Then next we'll replace 2 with 8, then with 2 with 9, then this 2 will replace with 10 because we want to find out how many times 10 is coming. Then 11, so we'll replace 2 with 11, and the last one here we'll replace 2 with 12. So this is what we are having. And now to find the probability, we know that probability of any event is equal to the number of favorable events divided by the total events. So in this case what we'll do is we'll just find the total of these frequencies, and suppose we want to find that how many times the sum 2 is coming. So what we'll do is we'll just divide the frequency of 2 with the total frequency, and we'll get the probability of the sum when sum is 2, and in that case what is the probability of that event. So this is how we can get the probability of all the events. So now let us start doing this one. First let us find the sum of this. So equal to, just write sum, SUM, and then bracket. Inside that we'll take all the numbers from here, all the numbers which are in the column of frequency, and then close it and press enter. So what we are getting is 14 here. The total is 14. Now we want to find the experimental probability of this one. That is, what is the probability of 2? When xi is 2, what is the probability of 2? That is, what is the probability of getting 2 as the sum in a throw of dice 14 times. So what is that? Just how many times 2 is coming, that will divide by the total frequency. So just we write here equal to, and click on the cell where we are having the frequency of 2, divided by here the total frequency, that is 14. Now what we are getting is 0. Why? Because 2 is coming 0 times. Now if suppose we drag this one downwards, what will happen is, suppose let us drag it here till here, we are getting error. Let us see why we are getting error here. See here in second one, when we have to find the probability of how many times the sum 3 is coming, what we are getting is this frequency is being divided by G19. So this is, if you see here, this is G and this 18 and this G19. G19 is blank, so error is there. So every time, suppose same way, if we click on for what is the probability of the sum as 12, so in that we have G17 divided by G28, and you will see that G28 is here, so it is also blank. So what we need to do is we have to always divide our frequencies with the total frequency only. So we'll have to do change in the very first one. We'll fix this the cell where 14 is there, that is G18. So we'll just put dollar before that, that will fix the cell where 18 is there. Now we have fixed it. So let us try this time again now. So we'll drag it, and so you can see that all have changed, and let us see whether it's correct or not. So equal to we'll write, and then SUM. If the total sum is 1, it will be correct sum, and we'll add all the numbers from the first to the last, and close the bracket and press enter. What we are getting is 1. So that means this is correct. Now this is our experimental probability, and this result may not be the correct one, because we have done very less trials. We have done only 14 trials. The more trial we will be doing, the more it will be accurate to the correct result. So what is the correct result and what it should be, that we can know by going through the theoretical approach. So we'll go through the theoretical approach. So let us make a new table here. So we'll write sum. So what we are taking the same case, that is when we are throwing a dice, a pair of dice 2 times, and we want to find the sum of the numbers which are appearing on the top faces. So but this is theoretical approach. So in theoretical approach, you know that whenever we are throwing 2 dice, the number of elements in sample space will be how much? 36. And same concept will apply here. So sum, then frequency. So before that, let us write down the what we say, the events. So what are the events? And here we'll write the frequency, and in the last one, just let us increase this first, the width of this. The last one we'll write what we say, theoretical probability. So theoretical probability. So this is what we are having. Now what we'll do is sum. We have seen that the minimum sum is 2, then it goes till 12. So let us write here 3, then we'll write here 4, and so on. We'll select all of them and drag it till 12. So here we are till 12. And what are the events which has in place of events, let us change this one into the elements. So what are the elements in this case? Elementary events, or we can write elementary events also, or we can write down simply the elements of the sample space. Elements of the sample space which satisfy this particular event. So elements. So what are the elements for 2? How can we obtain 2? 2 can be obtained only when both the dice are showing 1 and 1. So let's write that 1 comma 1. Then how can you obtain 3? 3 we can obtain when we are having 1 2 and 2 1. Next, how can you have 4? 4 we can obtain if you have 1 3. Let's write first 1 3, 1 3. Then we can have 2 2. In that case, so we are getting the total sum as 4. And we can have 3 1. So 3 1. So this is what we are having. Next, for 5. For 5, how can you obtain 5? We'll start with 1 4. So 1 4. Then comma, we'll write 2 3. Then we'll write 3 2. 3 2. Its sum also is 5, and then we'll write 4 1. 4 1, because beyond that we cannot go. 4 1. So 4 1 we have to write. This is 4 1. Now next, 6. How can you obtain 6? If we add 1 and 5. So let us start with 1 5. 1 5. Next, what we'll do is we'll increase this the first entry and decrease the second entry. So now we'll increase 1, it will become 2, and this will decrease, it will become 4. So let us do that way. So 2 comma, we'll write here 4. 2 comma 4, that will give us 6. Then the next one is, as told, this will increase by 1 and this will decrease by 1. So it will become 3 3. So 3 comma 3. Then next we'll have 4 2. 4 comma 2. And then we'll write 5 1 comma 5 5 comma 1. So this is what we are having. Total 5 plus 1 is 6. So next we'll go for 7. So how can you obtain 7? So we'll start with 1 6. So 1 comma 6. Then we'll write 2 5. 2 comma 5. Then we'll write 3 comma 4. 3 comma 4. Then we will write 4 comma 3. 4 comma 3. Then we'll write 5 comma 2. 5 comma 2. Then next we'll write 6 comma 1. 6 comma 1. So total we are having till 7. Now just let's increase this somewhat more. So now we are okay with this. And now 8. How can we obtain 8? We can write 1 7. So we'll start with 2 6. So 2 comma 6. So next one comma, we'll write 3 comma 5. Then next we'll write 4 comma 4. 4 comma 4. Then next we'll write 5 comma 3. 5 comma 3. Then we'll write next entry will be 6 comma 2. 6 comma 2. And beyond that we cannot go, because if we write 7 1, we know that on a dice 7 is not possible. Then let us go for 9. 9 will write 4 5. Start with 4 5. No, we can start with 3 6. So let's start with 3 6. 3 comma 6. Then next we'll write 4 5. 4 comma 5. Then we'll write 5 4. 5 comma 4. Then we'll write 6 comma 3, 6 comma 3. Then the next one 10. So for 10 we can start with 4 6. So 4 comma 6. Then comma we'll take 5 5. So that is also total 10. And the next one we can take is 6 4, 6 comma 4, 6 comma 4. So that is also 10, and beyond that we cannot write 7 3. It is not possible. Now for 11 we'll start with 5 6, 5 comma 6, then 6 comma 5. So that is total is 11. And for 12 already we have discussed that is possible only when both the dice are having the number as 6 6 on the top faces. So that is what we'll write, 6 comma 6. Close the bracket. So this is what we are having. So these are all the favorable events, favorable elements for the event 2, for when xi is 2, when xi is 3, when xi is 4. Now let us find the frequency. What is the frequency here? You can count the number of elements in the event when the sum is 2. So that is 1. Similarly, next one we can see that is 2. Here it is 3. Then this is 4. And then we are having here 5. Here 1 2 3 4 5 6. And the next one 1 2 3 4 5. That is 5. Then 4. Then we are having 3. We are having 2, and we are having 1. And let us see total. Total should be 36. So let us check it out. So we'll here also we have not written that. So let us write this here, total, TOTAL. So here also we'll write down the same thing, total, TOTAL. So equal to, and write sum function, and we select all the elements which are in the column frequency. So here we have taken that and press enter. So what we are getting is 36. That is correct. Now we'll find the probability of each of the event. So equal to, what we'll do is same as we have done here. We know that how to find the probability of any event. That is the number of favorable elements which are there divided by the total number of elements. So any by ns. So equal to, just click on 1, divide by, now 36. That is n18. But here again, as we have seen, we'll use this formula for other also. If you keep it as n18 only, so this will be true only for the first one, but for remaining it will be incorrect one. So what we'll do is here we'll put $sign and press enter. Now just we'll drag this downwards and we'll get probability of all the others. So here we are. Now let us see whether it's correct or not. So same way we'll check the total should be equal to 1, equal to SUM. So selecting all of them and closing the bracket. So we are getting 1. So it is correct. And also let us see, just increase the decimals. So here we'll increase the decimals, and here also, so we can match them properly. So here you can just click on that one. So here we can see that. Now in our case we have taken only how many trials here? In experimental probability we have taken 14 trials. When we have taken 14 trials, you can see that the probability of sum as 2 is how much? 0.07 if it is only 2 decimal, and here it is 0.02. So it is not correct one. It is there because we have taken here very less trials. So in experimental probability we have to take a lot many trials. If we take very less trials, then definitely our answer will be incorrect. So what we'll do is we'll increase our number of trials and see whether there will be any improvement in this or not. So let us just drag this downwards and see. And we are dragging this, and here let us go more than say 1000 trials. So here we have gone, this is more than 1000. Now let us check, we'll move back and see if any improvement is there or not. So here you can see this is 0.027, here it is 0.027, if you can see 3 decimals. So somewhat we are getting more correct. So now the more, as I told you, the here how many trials are there? 1087 trials. So the more number of trials we take, the more it will be correct one. Now before we go further, let us just make a table of this also, so that will be better. So we'll click on insert and table, and here also the same will do. Make the table for this also. So insert and we'll go in table and okay. Now next, let us here we have seen that we have taken 1087 trials. Now let us increase our number of trials. So let us go say beyond 3000 trials. So just go on dragging it, and you can go on dragging here. So we are now in the range of 3000. So here we have gone, we have taken more than 3000. So let us move back now and see how much we are closer to the theoretical probability. So let us see here 2. We can have only 2 decimals. So probability of 2 is here, the sum as 2 is 0.02, here also 0.02. For 3 it is 0.05, here also 0.05. For 4 it is 0.08, here also 0.08. And for 5 also 0.11. And for 6 it is both, if you can 2 decimals, 0.13. 7 0.15, here it is 0.16, small error is there. And 8 0.13, and here also 0.13. And for 9 0.11, 0.11. For 11, for 10 it is 0.08, here also 0.08. For 11 it is 0.05, here it is 0.05. And for 12 here is 0.03, it is 0.02. So we are very, very close to the theoretical probability. So we have seen that if we take the number of trials more and more, the more closer will be to the theoretical probability. Now we'll draw a chart on which we'll plot the graph of experimental probability and that of theoretical probability together. So let's start doing that. For that we'll click on insert, and from here we'll go on charts, then click on the 4th one, that is scatter with straight line markers, and drag this down, and we'll increase the area of this. So for that this much we can do, and then here, so let us just reduce somewhat size. So now it's okay. Then next in the chart area, just click anywhere you like, and then from this will go in select data. What is our aim? Our aim is to plot the graph of experimental probability and theoretical probability. So first we'll plot experimental probability. So for that we'll click on add series name. So what is the series name? That is experimental probability. So click on that. Series x values, that means what we want to plot on x-axis. So on x-axis we want to plot the sum, that is the total of the numbers on die 1 and die 2. So this series is there from 2 to 12. We'll select all that, and then next we'll go on series y value. So whatever is here in this box, first delete that one. It means that on y-axis what we want to plot? On y-axis we want to plot experimental probability. So we'll select all the series and then click OK. So now this is experimental probability, but now on the same chart we want to also plot the graph of theoretical probability. So we'll click on add, and from here series name. So what is the series name? Theoretical probability. Series x values, so that again we will take from 2 to 12. Then for series y values, first we'll delete whatever is in the rectangle, and then the whole series of theoretical probability. So then click OK, and here also OK. So now this is the chart which is showing the graph of experimental probability and that of theoretical probability. Now if you bring our cursor near to this orange one, it shows theoretical probability, and if you bring it near to this blue one, it says it is experimental probability. Now suppose we want that this detail should be displayed on the chart itself. So what we'll do is, here already plus sign is there, just click on that plus sign. If it's not there, suppose it's not there, then just click on the mouse to the left and then click on this plus sign, and after that click on this legend. So the detail will be displayed here on the chart itself. So now just we'll increase the width of this, and this also we can drag wherever we want. So let us keep it here. So this is what we have done. Now this is the chart is showing the experimental probability and theoretical probability together on the same chart. But here if you see along y-axis, these all are probabilities, and after 2 decimal all are zeros. So what we can do for this one is just click on this and click on format axis. After that we'll go on number. Now here, as already told that after 2 decimal all are 0, so they are not of any importance to us. We'll reduce that. So 18 means only 2 are required, so we'll delete all this and write there only 2 and then press enter. So now you can see that our y-axis is only of 2 decimal. Next what we can do is we can just label it. So for that, again this will go on this plus sign, and from here we'll first give the chart title. So what is the title? We can give any title. So let us give here, first delete this one and this also. So we can write here theoretical and experimental probability. Theoretical and experimental probability. So this is what is our heading. And also now suppose we want to write the axis title also, so that also we'll do. So in place of this one, first let us delete this. We can write probability, probability, and along axis title also, this x-axis, what we can do is we can delete this, the whole we can delete, and there we can write sum, SUM. So now most of the part is complete. So this is the representation of experimental probability and theoretical probability on the same chart. But we can see here that still there is not that the alignment of theoretical probability and experimental probability is not that much. Still there is somewhat difference there. So why that is? This is because we have taken only 3129 trials. If you take more trials, then you will see that there will be more alignment between the experimental probability and theoretical probability. So that will do. We'll just increase the number of trials, but before that let's just bring this at the center. So, and also let us color this one, so that will be nice thing. So we can increase the size from 11 to say 16, and color we can give any. First let us just increase the space, probability, and between the words here. So any color of your choice, whatever choice is there. Suppose we want to give it say yellow color. So this is what is there, and here also we can give some color to this one, say blue color, and this also probability, any color. This pink will be okay, and here also we can color it some with any other color, say any, I will just put light color. So this is some. And now what we'll do is we'll just as already discussed that, suppose we click here, just can see that if just we are clicking it, and many times you can see that there is not that much alignment between experimental probability and theoretical probability. So we'll increase our number of trials. Here we can see that our first test starting from the 7th row. So in this 3129 we'll add 6, so that will become 3135. So let us write here A3135, A3135. Now what we'll do is we'll just drag this downwards. So here you can just select this one, just drag it down. So we'll drag on till it is more than say 5000. Let us take more than say very big number we'll take. So let us take more than say 10,000 or say 15,000. Let us take more than 15,000, and you can drag it on. So here, now again from here also we'll drag it down till more than 15,000. So it is now, it is in the range of I think it's 8,000. So still we'll go beyond that, we'll go beyond 15,000, so that will be better. And in that case we'll see that whether there is alignment between the graph of theoretical probability and that of experimental probability or not. So right now we are in the range of 11,000, and we'll go on. So now this is the range of 12,000, and so even if you take 10,000 or more, then it's okay. So the more we take, the more we will see that there will be alignment. So here this is now 13,000 range. Now next, so this is 13,600 range is coming, then 13,800 range there, then now it is the range of 14,000, and so like this will go on continuing till we reach more than 15,000. So here we are 14,900 range and then 15,000. Let's stop here. Now we'll see that all the numbers have come. So let us move back. So just move back. Now we can see that there is you can say that a lot of alignment between experimental probability and theoretical probability. They are almost identical. Why? Because we have taken number of trials more than a lot more. We have taken more than 15,000. So that is why the more you take, the more you will see that even if we just even if you click anywhere, you can see that there is not much gap between the graph of experimental probability and that of theoretical probability. Suppose let us say click here, you can see that. Press the delete button continuously. You can see that the data are continuously changing, but the graph, there is hardly any variation between that of theoretical probability and experimental probability. So with this, our experiment number 9, that is probability and dice roll simulation, is complete.